Oh, hello there. If you've watched any of my videos, you've probably figured out that I'm a psychopath. What better place to be for a psychopath than the dystopian world of Deus Ex? I thought of that question and decided to find out. Here's how it went. I start off my Deus Ex journey the same way I start off my mornings, by looking at the pleasant sights of people crying, planes crashing, and people dying. I then watch a Google slide presentation that tells me about my mission. Some black market thugs had acquired some rare Pokemon cards and were going to be selling it to the highest bidder, and it was up to us to stop them. I then got to choose between lethal and non-lethal weapons. If I chose non-lethal, then there would be less risk of civilian casualties. With lethal, there would be high risk of a stray bullet hitting and killing a civilian. So naturally, I chose the latter.
I'm not leaving my six exposed. Give me something lethal.
It was then time for me to go. When I got up, I forgot my parachute, and in order not to look uncool and go back to get it, I just jumped out. This might not seem like a top 10 play of the week. However, I can create a yellow hamster ball, so everything was good. Once I safely landed, I made my way through the building and eventually started thinking about gender inequality. This got me so mad that I punched a hole in the wall. For all the women watching, I'm 6'2" by the way. I made my way through the building, stabbing guards, shooting the unconscious, and of course, venting. After wiping out a few more guards, I did the heinous action of disabling the guard's Wi-Fi booster, causing them to lag while playing Minecraft minigames. Once finished there, I entered this room the most alpha way I could, and watched as the Pokemon cards were pulled out. Mid-exchange, however, the front man's more dripped out cousins showed up and started shooting everyone, trying to get the cards. After crushing some soldiers minding their business, I ran straight into the middle of a shootout and took the helicopter's AA batteries and prevented the Pokemon cards from slipping through our grasp. With the cards secured and only a dozen civilian casualties, I left there and met up with this girl with caramel-colored hair named Alex. We talked about some stuff, and then someone decided to have their gender reveal party right in the middle of this train station. This mother and a bunch of other people got killed, but more importantly, I could no longer punch through walls whenever I died in Call of Duty. What was I supposed to do now? Handle my anger in a calm manner? Before I left to get that fixed, I FaceTimed with my old boss, David Seraph. He told me some boring stuff like how he's been doing and how he's making a positive impact in the world. It turns out, he didn't call me just for fun. He wanted me to sign a paper for him in order for him to get some money. I of course didn't do that because it wouldn't benefit me, and after a quick shower, I went off to get my AUGs fixed. My AUG doctor called me to tell me that he had trash-talked some thugs on Call of Duty, and now they were raiding his store, looking for him, meaning I would have to sneak in. After sneaking into this person's house and turning on their stove for a reason that I don't even know, I start my way to my doctor's office. I then find the world's most effective wall, stab 2 guards, shoot 2 more, and ride an elevator into what I can only presume is a torture dungeon. Inside it is my doctor, who looks less like one and more like a meth-addicted teen. So I, of course, let him work on my body. This, of course, goes terribly wrong. He almost kills me, however in some good news, he discovers some new augmentations in me. Bad news is, I can't use them without overheating worse than an Xbox One. There is a special part that I can use to solve that issue, so I set off to get that. Before heading off to get the latest cooling fan, I go back to my apartment and recall David Seraph. He says he doesn't know anything about the AUGs, but he says he'll contact someone who does. Happy with his answer, I ride a train, and after showing this police officer my coronavirus vaccination card, which I bought off of eBay, I make my way into the sewers to find the part. While I'm looking for it, I find this homeless guy minding his business. So I shoot him. His friends decide to be all dramatic, so I shoot them as well. After tranking a guard and stabbing his friend, I find the latest AC unit. In order to cover my tracks, I dragged his unconscious guard into the vents in order to frame him as the imposter and force his friends to inject him into space. Satisfied with that, I left and finally headed off to work. Once there, my coworker stopped me and made the mistake of giving me a key card to the shooting range. I immediately went there, and after stealing all of their weapons, I planted a microchip in my boss's gaming PC in order to monitor all of his Discord calls. Like all my other bosses, he wasn't too happy with me.
Jensen, I need to see you, now!
I went to his office, however, he thankfully didn't notice the virus I had just installed on his computer. He wanted me to go get some evidence about the bombing, and I was more than willing to do so I could figure out who temporarily took away my ability to destroy walls. And also killed and injured a lot of people too, I guess. After a quick train ride, I met with an incompetent agent who couldn't secure the evidence that we needed. So I set off to do his job for him. I really wanted to test out a new ability that I had acquired, so I decided to use it on these police officers. Their friends didn't view this as a wholesome 100 moment like I did, and opened fire on me almost immediately. I ran past them, and after killing the only person that wasn't shooting at me, I acquired the hard drive. I then killed some more guards. My lust for bloodshed wasn't satisfied, so I went back to go kill more, but the cops had had enough of my shenanigans and brought out the No Games Buster. Seeing that I was no match, I left there and started back to my work. Turns out, Miller wasn't too happy about my practical joke on the police.
What the hell did you do, Jensen? State police are saying another augmented terrorist just hit them at the train station.
With Miller unhappy, and now being able to put terrorist in my job description, I gave the agent the evidence and talked to this guy who told me that someone was close to discovering the location of the task force. I agreed to help him only so that no one would get to kill everybody here before I got the chance. I went to his apartment, and after breaking in, I moved his furniture, turned on all of his appliances, and pretended to be him on his computer. After exchanging messages with this person, I acquired a meeting address. I jumped out the window and headed to the meeting location. After giving a homeless person permanent brain damage, I met up with the group trying to expose our task force. After threatening to break his nose and a little bit of persuasion, he agreed to stop investigating us. I put a bullet through each of their skulls just in case they had cap artists on Hall of Fame. With that out of the way, I met up with Alex in order to discuss what the virus found on Miller. To put a long story short, Miller and an unknown associate were blaming the bombing, the frontman attack, as well as another unrelated incident on the Augmented Rights Coalition, or ARC. With some dirt on Miller I could use in order to boost my pay from $7.15 an hour to $7.25 an hour, I met up with the potential trader. He wanted me to go to a place called Gollum City, a place that was full of murder, crime, and brutality. I think I'll fit in just fine. I set off there, and after my pilot almost caused a plane accident since he was too busy watching No Games videos, great choice by the way, I again jumped out with no parachute. After making my knees more damage than the ones found at the retirement home, I went to meet up with our contact. I instead found his wife since he was in prison. After shooting a guard with melatonin and giving another a third breathing hole, I found the contact. He backed out of the deal, however he did point me to someone who could help me, as well as where to get his old key card, so I spared his life. I got the key card, and after taking out a No Games Buster, I set off to meet the second contact. I lied. I actually used my newly acquired key card to ride this elevator since in order to get to the smuggler, I'd have to cross through police-infested territory. After riding that elevator, I found the weakest No Game subscriber. He suggested that I turn back, however since I don't know what's good for me, I pressed on. I eventually found the original contact, who decided to repay my mercy by telling some ARC guards about me coming to snatch up their leader. I confronted him and dealt with him the only appropriate way. After dealing with the traitor, I fought through the ARC security guards who were even worse at their jobs than I was at geometry, which is really saying something. I then found Talos Rucker, who was the leader of the Augmented Rights Coalition. After a short debate, he agreed to come with me peacefully. However, immediately after that, he decided to try to get this video age restricted. With my target dead, I left the premises, stabbed some guards who weren't bothering me, shot their understandably angry friends, and made my overly dramatic exit. We flew out of there and met up with Miller, who was more upset with me than my manager was after I had ate one of the fish while working at PetSmart. He then ordered me to keep investigating the bombing, which would have to happen next video. If you liked this video, leave a like to show your support, and if you always want to see when I upload, you should subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Thank you for watching, and God bless.